you very much, Madam Chair. I want to focus a little bit on how we can, even if we are able to broaden the responsibility across civil society, across education systems, and engage very broadly, uh, an attempt to shift culture, to educate, to build capacity. We're still left with a government that we have heard is quite dispersed, where responsibility is dispersed. Silos exist. Departments are loosely, if at all, affiliated. Learnings are rarely shared. Um, how do we hold our government accountable? What is the single point of accountability that you see right now in the system that could be engaged to help our government and its multiple departments address this mandate in a more aggressive way, in a much more accountable way?
I was very direct in my speaking notes about this, and I'll just jump in for a second here because I spoke about the fact that we have to have accountability in terms of, an example I can give you is that in any given program, there will be commitments to women with disabilities. I don't want to pick a specific department because I think that could be risky at this point. But like I said, that could happen. I can tell you that there isn't, like I said, as I mentioned before, anyone but Dawn who could tell you how much work actually was done related to women and girls with disabilities because there isn't a measure. I mean, the very first thing we have to do is start to measure results, and that includes how many projects did you actually fund and who was involved in the projects and what were the outcomes. And like I said,
I guess what I'm
thank
trying
you.
to get at is, in your view, is there an
Mhm.
agency that we could charge with this responsibility? Who is the best agency right now within the structure that could help
Mm.
us at least attempt to start the shift in culture that we think we need? I
Are you
understand
talking within
the
government?
gaps. I understand the gaps in
Sure.
accountability frameworks and process
Mm.
versus outcome measures. I understand that there are serious gaps, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to understand who would we charge with this best.
I think some of the things that have happened in some of the work we've done with Wage has shown promise where there's been, and I'm not saying it's a perfect solution, but one of the things that what we've started to see emerge more is, first of all, some of the contract work that Wage gives to institutions, universities, and to civil society organizations, but also collaborating in terms of, I think, you're hearing from me, from Lindsay, from Anna, some of the same things. And so some of this, I think, has to be assigned across the civil society government partnership for it to be credible, one, and for it to be designed in a way that the measurement results will satisfy everyone and not just the government. Um, I think that might be part of it. I do think, like I said, we have to think outside of what's been done before. And like I said, there are some newer models in terms of some of the consultations around the National Action Plan on gender-based violence, right? That speak to an attempt. I don't think it was a full success, but there were some attempts, like I said, to use um, the feminist organizing model that is so well developed by feminist organizations to get at this. And I see Lindsay nodding, so I'd love to hear from her too. But I do think that if we're going to be pragmatic, an approach that could be the beginning of that.
I mean, yeah, we can look back at when program review dismantled the women's state to actually understand what we dismantled. And what we dismantled is exactly what we need as part of this problem. But within government, I work with government. I used to work in government. I caution about a one center because this is such a disparate sort of topic, right? We get contacted by Finance Canada, Global Affairs on Trade Agreements. I said on SME policy, right? And so no one person is going to have that. But in order to get the bureaucracy to take this seriously, the clerk of the Privy Council has to be a champion of this without a shadow of a doubt. And within the ministers and public policy, there needs to be a champion. And while we have, Minister Ian, we also have Chrystia Freeland. No, sorry, Minister Freeland. I've worked with her, so I feel like I'm on a first name basis. Um, we actually need somebody as a minister to champion it in a way that actually makes change. And nobody at the ministerial level is actually doing that at this point in time. I think there's a lot of hope on Minister Ian because she came into this with a better understanding of intersectionality than existed in wage, but we're lacking the true champion model, which is what I see like in departments like global affairs that has amazing research done on trade chapters that nobody's ever going to see. They have a champion inside their department that's pushing this forward. And interestingly enough, they're not getting their information from wage.